A single Ukrainian sapper starved a Russian battalion for 3 days in one night. 12,500 investment, 2.5 million in enemy losses. Who was this invisible killer? In the shadows of modern warfare, few roles demand more nerve than that of the combat engineer, the sapper. While regular troops hunker in trenches exchanging fire, gunners unleash barrages from afar, and drone pilots guide strikes from distant screens, the sapper ventures into the deadliest void alone. He crawls belly down across the killing fields known as no man's land or the gray zone, a strip of death patrolled by enemy drones, watched by snipers on both sides, where one wrong move, one faint noise, or a fleeting outline against the horizon spells instant doom. Strapped to his back are the instruments of silent destruction, heavy anti-tank mines tipping the scales at 7 kilograms each, compact detonators nestled in his pocket, wire snips, probing rods, and the hard-earned expertise to position each charge precisely so it will obliterate any vehicle rolling over it long after he's vanished into the night. He is the battlefield's lone phantom, the soldier who slips into places no unit dares enter, executes tasks impossible for anyone else, and either returns unseen or never returns at all. Just days ago, along the Eastern Front, one Ukrainian sapper pulled off an extraordinary solo operation that stands as a testament to raw courage and tactical brilliance. Under cover of darkness, this 34-year-old senior sergeant shouldered roughly 60 kilograms of mines, fuses, tools, and gear, then crawled more than 3 kilometers across contested ground. He infiltrated Russian-held territory, rigged a 200-meter section of the sole viable supply route feeding an entire motorized rifle battalion, layered it with anti-tamper booby traps to thwart any clearance attempts, blended his handiwork into the thawing spring mud, and slipped back to friendly lines before first light. Come dawn, a Russian logistics convoy rolled straight into his trap. Explosions tore through the column, vehicles erupted in flames and wreckage, and the battalion found itself severed from ammunition, fuel, food, water, and reinforcements for 3 full days. One individual, one grueling night, a backpack full of death, and an enemy force was crippled. The target was nothing special on the surface, a narrow dirt track, barely 4 meters across, cutting north-south through farmland about 5 kilometers behind Russian forward positions. Packed earth mixed with gravel, rutted and churned by constant military traffic into a muddy mess. Yet this humble farm lane served as the lifeline for a Russian battalion dug in 3 kilometers westward. Every truck hauling shells, rations, diesel, medical kits, or rotating troops relied on it. Casualty extractions, fresh reinforcements, everything depended on this single artery remaining open. Geography and the infamous spring Rasputitsa made it irreplaceable. The surrounding black Chernozem fields had turned into impassable soup from weeks of mild temperatures and rain. Wheeled vehicles bogged down axle deep, even tracks struggled. Nearby alternate paths had already claimed several supply trucks in the muck. Only the slightly raised gravel bed road stayed marginally passable above the water table. Cut it, and the battalion became an isolated outpost, surrounded by liquid mud instead of water. Ukrainian recon pieced it together meticulously, drone orbits clocked predictable convoy timings, intercepted signals matched Russian supply pleas to vehicle movements, terrain scans ruled out detours during the thaw. Command calculated that blocking the route would starve the unit of essentials for at least 2 to 3 days, the window Russian sappers needed to detect, mobilize gear, and carve a safe bypass. They entrusted the job to their most seasoned operator, this senior sergeant, in the fight since the invasion's opening days, with over 40 gray zone mining runs under his belt. Nicknamed the Mole by his unit for his uncanny stealth, he'd evaded drones, tripwires, flares, and patrols through sheer fieldcraft, patience, and an instinctive feel for staying invisible. Prep took 2 intense days. He pored over drone visuals, committing every curve, rut, ditch, and will track to memory. He mapped mine placements for maximum lethality, inside bends where drivers cut corners, narrow spots, straight runs aligned with standard truck axle widths. 8 TM62 anti-tank mines went down in a clever staggered zigzag, not clustered for easy spotting after the first hit, but offset on alternating sides so any attempt to halt, back up, or detour would trigger the next. For pressure release, anti-handling charges hid under select mines to punish anyone trying to lift them. 2 OZM-72 bounding fragmentation mines guarded the shoulders, rigged with concealed tripwires in the mud to shred dismounted troops seeking cover. Total load, around 60 kilograms in a rugged pack. Departure came at 21:30 on a perfect night, no moon, thick clouds, light drizzle cutting visibility, distant engine rumble masking small sounds. He threaded through Ukrainian trenches to the forward outpost, then slipped into the gray zone. From there, total solitude. No fire support, no overhead drones, any emission could tip off Russian electronic warfare. He crawled at a deliberate 1 to 1.5 kilometers per hour, freezing often to listen, probe ahead for wires or sensors, scan the blackness. Mud sucked at elbows and knees, black clay caking his gear for unintended camouflage but adding punishing weight. The pack ground into his spine with every inch forward. After nearly an hour, he threaded a waterlogged drainage ditch, too narrow and wet for Russian occupation, slipping under their front line. Icy water drenched him chest to thighs. Emerging behind their positions, he held still, ears straining. Nothing. The enemy faced forward, blind to their rear. Pushing deeper into occupied ground, he crossed 2 secondary tracks, each demanding 10 minutes of motionless watch before a quick hands and knees dash. Compass and memorized landmarks guided him. After 2 hours and 40 minutes of agony, he reached the road. Hands numb, knees bleeding, uniform soaked, he was precisely on target. Mining unfolded with surgical calm. He scooped shallow pits in the soft earth, seeded each TM62, set fuses, backfilled, smoothed, then scattered debris and splashed mud to erase signs. The fresh-turned soil vanished into the saturated landscape. All 8 anti-tank mines placed, anti-handling traps installed, bounding mines on flanks wired subtly. 75 minutes total. He erased footprints, double-checked, then turned for the return crawl, now lighter, packed down to about 8 kilograms, but body pushed to breaking. 6 hours of extreme exertion, freezing, focus razor-sharp. He retraced every careful step, same pauses, same crossings, same discipline. Back through the frigid ditch, shivering violently. He reached Ukrainian lines around 0340, mud-encrusted, uniform ripped, hands raw. Mission accomplished, 8 anti-tank, 4 anti-handling, 2 anti-personnel mines placed and armed. He downed T, then collapsed into sleep. Dawn brought the harvest. Mines lie dormant until triggered, patient, invisible, unforgiving. TM62s demand 200 to 500 kilograms pressure, safe for footsteps, lethal for trucks. At 0815, the first convoy appeared, 6 vehicles, 3 heavy Urals with ammo and rations, a diesel tanker, an engineering truck, a light UAZ scout car leading. They rolled confidently at 30 kilometers per hour, lights on, commander studying maps. The UAZ passed harmlessly, too light to trip the fuses, as planned. The lead heavy Ural, 12 tons laden with 152mm shells, rolled over the second mine at 0816. A colossal blast, 7.5 kilograms TNT erupted under the front axle, hurling the cab skyward, shearing it free. Cargo bed flipped sideways into the ditch, driver and passenger killed outright. Shells scattered but didn't cook off. The trailing Ural braked, swerved right onto the shoulder, straight over the fourth mine. Front axle disintegrated, truck flipped, auxiliary fuel ignited. Driver trapped. Passenger ejected and badly hurt. The tanker halted, driver frozen. Crew from the engineering truck dismounted to help, 2 walked the left shoulder and hit an OZM-72 tripwire. The bounding mine sprang up, detonated mid-air, spraying lethal ball bearings. Both men killed instantly. The sharp crack echoed, shoulders mine too. Survivors locked in place, refusing to move. No one stepped out. They radioed, waited for engineers who arrived after agonizing delay, approaching with terror, knowing every step could be fatal. Outcome, 2 Urals obliterated, 600k a 1.2 m each with cargo. 1 damaged, 200 to 400k. 4 Russians dead, 3 wounded. Roadblocked 72 hours, anti-handling traps forced cautious plowing with heavy gear from afar. The battalion starved, ammo dwindled, artillery barrages weakened, rations cut, patrols thinned, positions undermanned. Ukrainian observers noted sharp drop in enemy fire, lives saved, positions held stronger, breathing room to regroup. Costs? Ukrainian side, 12,500 in mines, tools, charges. Russian hit, vehicles, cargo, casualties, clearance ops estimated 1.2 to 2.5 million direct, plus degraded ops. ROI, 100:1 to 200:1 or better. This sapper isn't elite special forces, just a regular senior sergeant from a standard engineering battalion, a former construction worker whose pre-war skills, soil knowledge, digging in mud, enduring labor, translated perfectly to war. What sets him apart? The steel to crawl alone into hell, perform meticulous deadly work under crushing fear, numb fingers handling explosives in near-freezing dark. No fanfare awaits him, no viral clips, no glory reels. Just quiet return, another cup of tea, and readiness for the next shadow mission. Across the conflict since 2022, Russian forces have lost staggering numbers, hundreds of thousands in personnel, over 11,600 tanks, nearly 24,000 armored vehicles. Countless fell to mines laid by Ukrainian sappers like this one, ghosts who slip unseen between armies, plant silent death in the earth, and fade away. The convoy drivers that morning never glimpsed their destroyer. He arrived in darkness, worked in silence, departed unseen. One soldier. One loaded pack. 6 hours of crawling. Unbreakable resolve. He remains out there tonight, somewhere in the black between the lines, ready to make the ground speak again. This is the unseen war. This is Ukraine's fight. The earth remembers. Remember this on WW2 Impact. The battlefield tells truths louder than any narrative. One sapper took down a battalion, without firing a shot. If this inspired you, comment "More lives" right now. Subscribe to WW2 Impact so you never miss the next real hero story.